The Gray Man is a new Netflix movie directed by the Bros, which I didn't check out their previous film on Netflix that they did. Because basically, like, when everyone's getting excited over this movie, like, these guys directed Endgame. They're free to do whatever the hell they want. I'm like, yeah, like, if these guys were interesting directors from the jump, like, okay, so let's say Taika Waititi's only film that he directed was Thor Ragnarok, right? Thor Ragnarok it has enough interesting directorial ideas and things in it that I want to see him move on to another project that's not that, right? The Russo bros didn't really do anything. All the good stuff in those movies came down to the writing and the effects. Like, their direction, anybody could directed those movies. Maybe not as well as they did, but for the most part, I didn't watch that movie and go, "That's a Russo's brothers movies." No, I watched that and I said it was a Marvel movie. And so, like, them doing another project didn't excite me, but with the cast of this movie, I was curious about it. I'm a big Ryan Gosling fan, and I really like him in a lot of stuff. So, and we did, some of these Netflix movies have been getting theatrical releases, and I did have the opportunity to watch it in theaters. I turned it down because straight up Netflix movies, I really don't give a flying shit about a lot of them because we're at the point now where it's just like they make so much garbage that it's hard to know, is this a good thing, good show, good movie? I don't know anymore, right? That's why shows like Stranger Things and things like that are usually Netflix's biggest shows because they're pretty easy, simple shows to watch and know what's going to be good. And those continue to have new fan bases and they grow in fan base size and everything because there's enough there. This is just, stuff like Netflix movies just don't really do it for me. So, I mean, I would love to like make a review of every Netflix movie that comes out, but I wouldn't be satisfied doing it because there's so much bad stuff out there. So I just watch the ones that interest me. And I don't watch them in theaters unless there's something like Army of the Dead, which was so awesome and I knew what it was going to be before going into it. I definitely had to see it in theaters. This is not that. This is just whatever. And, in saying that, I am a little sad I didn't watch this in theaters because I was impressed by it, even though it wasn't great. It actually was pretty meh. The plot of this movie is a very generic action movie that you've seen 1,000 times. Uh, that's pretty much all this movie is. But Ryan Gosling gives a pretty good performance. Not one of his best because he really isn't given a lot because he's just given a generic action movie. He does his part well enough. Cool. Chris Evans is actually pretty fun as the villain in this movie and has some fun with that. But that's cool. And the action scenes, I would actually say they're pretty good. Surprisingly, a lot of them surprise me. A lot of good camera work and cinematography here. I think just where it comes down to this movie being boring is a lot of the editing is not very good. It's just pretty meh, to be honest. Uh, or well, not the editing, but like the editing's a little bit off, but the story and the writing are just meh. Because it's just such a generic action movie. So they need this guy to go kill this guy. So they get a guy who's been in prison for killing a dude. Get him out of there. Recruit him with the CIA. He goes to hunt him down and kill him. That's our movie. And it's just that movie that we've seen over and over again. It's not interesting. It's just kind of whatever. And sure, definitely the nice cinematography and some of the cool action scenes definitely helped with the movie. But it wasn't enough to make me go, wow, this was worth 2 hours and 8 minutes of my time. It just wasn't. It was pretty meh, and I was just like, whatever with this movie. If it's playing in theaters, don't bother watching it on theaters. If it sounds interesting to you, I guess watch it on Netflix. It can't really hurt because if you're already paying for Netflix, you're kind of watching it for free, in a way, I guess. So, I mean, that's kind of the thing that's also annoying about Netflix. I feel like Netflix gets this free pass because, like, well, I'm already paying for Netflix, so I guess it's whatever. It didn't feel like I had my time wasted. Meanwhile, movie theaters, they don't get a pass like that. And I think it's kind of, like, frustrating because Netflix, is complaining they're losing all this money, but I think really what it boils down to is they produce so much content and don't market the content that they put out, and they don't bother to come in here and control some of this shit and be like, where's the quality control here? Let's make some better stuff. That's why HBO Max and HBO are better services because they have these award-winning top-tier talent shows out there and doing their thing, and they're good at it. Meanwhile, we got Netflix doing ever the shit the Gray Man is. It's just frustrating. I don't know. I'm excited for Knives Out 2 and a few other Netflix movies, but I can't say that I'm just like a super big Netflix fan at this point. I barely even watch Netflix, to be honest. And that's why you see so few Netflix reviews from me, because I'm not like a hater of them. I'm definitely like a fan in a sense, but I'm also just frustrated with what Netflix has become, and that's just the frustration I have.